If you cannot make good financial decision with a $10, there is no way you're gonna make good financial decision with $100 or $1,000. Welcome to Friday Finances with Mr. Msibise. My name is Taban Msibi, better known as Mr. Msibise. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the one single documentation that each and every person should have. Basically, this is the core. We usually hear people talking about it, just that we never understood exactly how is it calculated and why it is so important. So today, brace yourself and have your notepad and calculator with you, because today we are going to calculate how much are you, yes, you, how much are you worth. So basically, we are talking about your net worth. What is a net worth? Now, a net worth is actually an estimation of how much you are valued for in terms of money, right? So there is a formula. So we're just going to go back to the way it actually started. So if you're doing financial accounting, there's the common equation that is known as an accounting equation, which includes your asset, owner's equity, and your liability. So what most people are actually not aware of is the fact that that accounting equation formula is actually the formula that is used to calculate a person's net worth. So when you hear people saying they are millionaires, they are billionaires, I'm none of those. I think I'm 1,000, or if that's a weight, I think, or less, yeah. But anyway, so your net worth is actually calculated using that formula. So it's basically your assets minus liabilities equals to net worth or equals to equity. Your asset is everything that you own minus liabilities. Your liabilities is everything that you owe. Then when those two are minus, they will then give you how much you are actually worth. So when I say brace yourself so that you can have your calculator so that we can start calculating. So a net worth is a standard formula that is used for every person, right? So you as an individual, you need to find out how much you are worth and the processes that you actually follow in order to calculate how much you're worth. And the reason it is important is for it so that you can know at what point would you then consider yourself to be rich or rich in wealth. I think it's the same way. At what point would you be able to consider it? Because when you hear people saying that they are millionaires, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have a million. It just means that their net worth is equal to that. And if I'm not mistaken, that's about 80,000 rand per month. It could be more, but you still need to correct me on those ones. So the process that is used when we hear people or when we hear Forbes announcing that people have reached a certain amount of money, it is because of that formula. So what I would always recommend to people is that take the things, write them down so that you find out. Now, it is very much common that when you finish varsity or college, your net worth is going to be minus. So that means it does not mean you are worth less. Excuse the pun, worth less. It actually means you are worth minus that certain amount of money. So because it is calculated by checking everything that you own, all the things that you own minus everything that you owe. So I'm going to help you calculate this thing. If you have a car that you're still paying for, the car is not an asset there. The car will then move to a liability because you still owe it. The same thing with your house. But if not, let's say now the car is paid off. How are you going to calculate the car's value? It is based on the market value. In other words, it's based on how much you are going to be able to sell it for. Not how much you bought it for, but how much someone else is willing to buy that thing. The same thing with your mortgage bond. Your mortgage bond, you're also going to look at not the equity, but also how much the person is willing to do. Let's say, for instance, the house cost about the equity of the house is 50,000 rand, but the mortgage bond is around 100,000. So what you're going to sell the house for, or the house value, is actually 150,000 rand. So that's what you're going to be looking at. You're going to add everything that you own, from your cash, the cash that you have at the bank, your investments, which whether it can be bonds, it can be equity, it can be property. As long as it's your investment that you own, you're going to look at your feasible asset that you have, your car, your house, as long as they are paid off. That's where you're going to be classifying them. So here we are going to be differentiating, moving away basically from the normal definitions that we have from financial management, where they tell you about that the house is an asset. A house, yeah, it's an asset, but we're going to be taking straight to say if you still owe it, it's a liability. So if it's a mortgage bond, it's going to go to the other side. So we're going to leave a spreadsheet down below so that you can see it. So it's my request, my humble request for you to understand how much you're worth. Collect everything that you own, everything that you can convert into cash. I need to make that important. As long as you can be able to convert it into cash immediately, you put it under your asset, and then you're going to minus it with everything that you own. That's where you're going to be able to find out how much you're worth. And I'm going to advise you to check that thing every 3 months, right? While if you still have minimum assets, check it every 3 months, because what we are trying to encourage, or what we are trying to tell people about, is that you should focus on increasing your assets, not your liabilities. Now, I've met a lot of people in my life, people who earn a lot of money, yet they have nothing, which means their net worth is basically a minus or a zero. That's because they do not understand the simple principle that says it doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters is how much you get to keep and what you do with that money. So, and I've also met people who make less money, but what they have, it's amazing. So people should learn to actually put in the discipline within themselves that if you cannot make good financial decision with a $10, there is no way you're gonna make good financial decision with $100 or $1,000. It is the same discipline that you need to install in yourself with starting small, which means the same process of saying having more money is not gonna help you if you do not have that discipline. So you being considered a millionaire, yet you spend the entire million in a year, it's bad, because your net worth is actually a zero. So understand that the discipline that is in there, so that you can be able to find out how much exactly are you worth based on what you own minus what you owe. So when we say it doesn't matter how much money you make, what matters is how much you get to keep and what you do. The what you do is the one that represents that you then need to learn to increase your asset so that you can be able to minus the liabilities. If you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, they talk about the cash flow process, where they actually used to calculate as to what is it that rich people are doing and what is it that poor people are doing. Rich people focuses on buying asset, while poor people, they focuses on doing liabilities. So I think I'm not the only one. You know people who earn higher incomes and they have more living expenses than what they earn. That's the problem when we have, where you find people who are earning a lot of money but their net worth is zero, and you find people who are earning less money but they have more net worth. So it is that topic that we are dealing with today. Please, if you have any questions or you have any recommendations for any additional videos that we can do, please drop them there or the comment section, so that we can do research on them and give you feedback. And if you love the session of today or the video that we are doing, please do subscribe, put in a like, and put in those notifications. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.